Hi everybody, my name is Rupa. I am working as assistant professor in Chevrolet Engineering College in the Department of Electronics, Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am dealing the subject renewable energy sources. Today's topic is last type of concentrating collectors and solar ponds, solar distillations like that. So we will go through the subject. These are the next type of concentrating collectors, but these comes under non-focusing type. Until we see all the collectors of focusing type, but these are non-focusing type. So this is the simplest form of concentrating collector. It has a mirror boosted. Mirror is just implanted on the flat plate collector. It has a flat plate collector and it is facing south with mirrors attached to its north and south edges. A flat plate collector is taken and for north and south edges there are mirrors. If the mirrors are set at proper angle, they reflect solar radiation onto the observer plates. So according to the sun's direction, these mirrors are changed. These mirrors are also oriented. So the later it receives reflected radiation in addition to that normal falling on it. Direct radiation will not be fall on the flat plate collector. It is made to fall onto the mirrors and these mirrors will be reflecting radiation. So in this way we are getting the heat. See, these two are the mirror. Here mirror will be there, and the solar radiation falling on the mirror is made to reflect onto the observer plate here. These mirrors cut off part of the scattered radiations that would otherwise have reached the observer plate, and only a part of scattered radiation falling on the mirrors will be reflected on the observer's plate. So concentration effect arises mainly from increase in direct radiation reaching the observer plate here. There will be no any diffused radiation, only direct radiation. So when number of collectors are combined in two or more ways, the rows must be further apart in the north and south directions to allow additional sun shading. If they are kept side by side, these mirrors are specifically designed so that shadowing is not obstructed. Shadowing will not be a main problem we have to see there if they are kept side by side. For effective reflection of this solar radiation, these mirrors angles should be adjusted continuously as the sun's attitude changes here. So for this reason, we can provide only relative small increase in solar radiation falling on the observer. So flat plate collectors with these type of designs are not used. That's why these are used with low cost. So where low cost is acquired, we can use this. See, what we are seeing in the slide is a flat plate mirror collector. This is non-focusing type because all the radiation focusing on the observer plate is not 100%. So if you see in this last figure, it is non-focusing type. All the solar radiations are not concentrated onto a focus point. So it is distributed into spaces, three types of spaces. This one, slide one, and this straight one, and again slide one. So it is a distributed So direct diffusion is not included here. So these are the practical flat plate collectors. Here these two are mirrors. This is the absorber plate. Entire solar radiation is not directing upon to the flat plate conductor. See here, the absorption is coming from the mirrors like this. So only some area, to extent of some area only, direct solar radiation is received by the flat plate collector. Because it has a disadvantage of mirror, shadow of mirror falling onto the absorbers. It is not so much used, but it is less cost. This is the last type of parabolic concentrator we are seeing. This is called as compound parabolic concentrator. So depending upon the design, how it is decided, it is the name existing compound parabolic concentrator, CPC. Shortcut it is called as CPC, or other name for compound parabolic concentrator is Winston collector. Gave after the scientist Winston, they gave the name. So this CPC or Winston collector, it is also a trough like arrangement. This is called as trough, what we are calling in earlier parabolic concentrators. This is called as a trough. This round part is called as a trough. And it is normally having two types of parabolic mirrors, two facing. This is first mirror and this is second mirror. As they are in the shape of parabola, this is also called as compound parabolic concentrator. And the down one, this dark position, is called as observer. It also comes under non-focusing. We are having two types, right? Focusing and non-focusing. And last one I have discussed, flat plate mirror collector. This is also a non-focusing type. And coming to this compound parabolic concentrator, it also comes under the category non-focusing type. But solar radiations from many directions is reflected towards the bottom of the trough. So solar radiations from this side and this side, all the solar radiations that are falling onto the mirrors are reflected back to this observer. So it is having a large proportion of solar radiation. It includes both diffuse and direct, because it is having an open on the trough. Because of this opening on the trough in a small area, it is possible to collect all the solar radiations, including diffuse radiations also. Actually in before one we are getting only direct type of radiations. So in this we can collect all the direct and diffuse. Diffuse are beam radiations. Actually, compared to north-south directions, it works good in east-west direction, because no adjustment is required in this direction. East-west direction, no adjustment, no tilting of the concentrator is required in the east-west direction. But when you focus this parabolic concentrator onto the north-south direction, tilting, some requirements of tilting has to be enclosed. So solar radiation is concentrated in this by a factor of 10. Okay, without tracking, diurnal tracking. So CPC reflectors are designed for any observer shapes. Any observer shapes, these can be designed. For example, first one is flat one side observer. Second one is flat two side observer. This flat two side observer is having some fins. Okay, so already we have discussed what is a fin means. It is a extra position kept on the observer, because this increases the observer's surface quantity, volume. And third type is, first one is flat one side observer, second one is flat two side observers with fins, and third one is wedge like observer, and fourth one is tubular observers. So these type, what is the desired there, what is the quantity, what is the work you are doing, destination we are doing, depending upon the work it is allotted, these designs, observer designs, are selected. So this fin last, the second one and third one, fin and tubular absorbers are economical, and these are good for thermal reasons. Thermal reasons means in order to absorb heat, we have to have fins, and tubular absorbers means we reduce the convection and conduction losses in tubular absorbers mainly. So because of these fins and tubular absorbers, they decrease the thermal losses, so it is good for heating. So with concentrated tubular, if you take the tubular absorber as a concentrated tubular absorber with an evacuated jacket means we are taking a Pyrex glass on the receiver pipe, so that is called as a jacket. We can attain temperatures of 200 degrees Celsius. Okay, so if you select a tubular absorber with the evacuated jacket, we can attain a temperature of 200 degrees Celsius. So this CPC actually it is suitable for the ranges of temperature ranges of 100 to 150 degrees. Okay, this temperature is attainable even if the observer is not surrounded by a vacuum also. Actually, if you surround the observer with the vacuum, the heat will not be lost onto the atmosphere. Though this compound parabolic concentrator is not surrounded by a vacuum, it attains a temperature. It is suitable for a temperature of 100 to 150 degrees. So 100 to 150 degrees is a suitable temperature, but they can be worked at 300 degrees temperature also in Celsius. 300 degrees Celsius temperature also required when required. These are required generally at power generations. So now we will see what are the advantages. See, before seeing the advantages, we will see practically the compound parabolic concentrators. These are the practical form of compound parabolic concentrators. See, there are large number of parabolic concentrators, compound type of parabolic concentrators. These are connected end to end, that means in series, and this row is connected in parallel with this row. So heat exchange will be transferred from this to through the receiver pipes and to the tanks here. See, these are all compound parabolic concentrators. See the trough shape, it is as shown in the before slide diagram. It is like this U shape, and we are having a open on the trough here. So all the solar radiations from this side and this side will be concentrated onto the black coated chrome trough. So at down, this is the observer. This is the observer. So it absorbs the solar radiations that is absorbed by this trough, and it transfers it to heat, and it travels, the heat will be traveling through this receiver pipe, absorber pipe. See, if you see only one trough, it will be like this. Practically it will be like this, and theoretically these are the explanations. So sun rays are directly coming onto the trough, and they are getting reflected to this observer surface. This is the observer surface. See, this is the receiving pipe in trough. We can see here clearly. This is the trough. Solar radiations will be concentrated on these areas, these two areas beside the trough. See in the small diagram here, second diagram, we are seeing a small trough. This is an example of trough design. So here, see, the trough angle will be made to be equal on both the sides by taking some adjustments here. See, both are equal, and this is the middle receiver pipe. This is the designing of trough. It is a process. It is shown in the process how trough is designed. So we can see the advantages here. What are the advantages of compound parabolic concentrator with other? When we compare with other, we can now see the advantages. First one is, there is no need for tracking. because already it is having high acceptance angle. Only seasonal adjustment. Seasonal means every season if changing, we have to adjust this trough. That's all. So seasonal adjustments means it will be around for 3 months or 2 months like that. So only seasonal adjustments are required. No need of tracking the sun all the time, all the days. So for concentration ratios of equal to approximately equal to 3, even seasonal adjustments may not be required. Second advantage is the efficiency for accepting diffuse radiation is very large when compared to the conventional concentrators. Third one is the concentration ratio is equal to maximum value possible for a given acceptance angle. For any given acceptance angle, this concentration ratio will be gone up to a maximum values. So this parabolic trough will be linear or parabolic collector. It is also commonly known as cylindrical parabolic collector. And depending upon the economical status, these are designed into various forms. These all the forms are available nowadays. So out of all the configurations described so far, until we discussed all the configurations of focusing and non-focusing type of collectors. In focusing, we are going into depth into subtypes in the focusing and subtypes in non-focusing. So out of all the discussed so far, the maximum concentration ratios are available with paraboloidal systems. These concentration ratios will be ranging from 10,000, in the order of 10,000. So out of all, we conclude that paraboloidal system is more efficient to work with it. We will see the advantages and disadvantages of concentrating collectors over flat plate type collectors. So already we discussed the flat plate collectors and both the concentrating collectors, and we are always, while describing the concentrating collectors, we are overcoming the disadvantages in the flat plate collectors. So we are comparing the concentrating collectors with the flat plate collectors and describing the advantages here. Okay, so the main advantages of concentrating system over the flat plate system we are discussing. So we are mainly concentrated on concentrating collectors. So compared to flat plate collectors, how they are advantages to flat plate collectors, now we are discussing. So first one is the reflecting surfaces. The reflecting surfaces means the solar radiation is coming onto a surface, it is reflecting back to the observer. So this reflecting surfaces require less material in concentrating collectors, and these are structurally simple than flat plate collectors. To construct also, these will be simple than the flat plate collectors. So if you compare a concentrating system, the cost per unit area of solar collecting surface is potentially less than for flat plate collectors. Okay, if you compare with per unit area, concentrating collectors are having less cost over flat plate collectors, and they are potentially rugged also. Third one is the observer area of the concentrator system is smaller in concentrating collectors, but the observing surface will be large in the flat plate collectors, though it is collecting the same solar collections. So therefore, because of the large observer surface, the insolation intensity will be lower for the flat plate, whereas these insolation intensities will be higher for the concentrating collectors. Okay, next fourth one is because of the area from which heat is lost to the surroundings, per unit of solar energy collecting area is very less in the concentrating collectors when compared to the flat plate collector, because this is because the insulation on the observer is more concentrated. So the working fluid can attain higher temperatures in the concentrating system than in the flat plate collector. So for the same solar energy collecting surface, higher temperatures will be attaining in concentrating collectors than in flat plate collectors. And next one is, fifth one is, because this concentrating collector is subjected to a small area of observer per unit of solar energy collecting area, the selective surface treatment or vacuum insulation to reduce the heat losses are less here in concentrating collectors. But so these less rates increase the collector efficiency and these are economically feasible. So overall collector efficiency is economically feasible. This is the important point what we are requiring. We want a collector efficiency of more value with less cost. So this is proved to be more in concentrating collectors over flat plate collectors. Sixth one is, focusing or concentrating systems are used for electric power generation, because when they are not used for heating or cooling purposes, we can alternatively use these concentrating collectors to the electric power generations. The total useful operating time per year therefore be large for a concentrating system than a flat plate system. So when the sunlight is dull, we have to keep aside or we have to turn off the flat plate collectors, but that is not in the case of this concentrating collectors. Whatever the solar radiations are there, we can continue work with the concentrating collectors. So overall year per annum, the concentrating collectors working hours are more than the flat plate collectors. And for the flat, so this therefore this large operating time will be large for the concentrating system than for flat plate collector, and the initial cost of the system can be regained by saving in energy in a short period of time in this concentrating collectors also. Next, seventh one is, because the temperature attainable with concentrating collectors is very high, the amount of heat can be stored per unit volume is also larger here when compared to flat plate. And if you are able to store the per unit volume in larger spaces, in larger values, consequently the heat storage costs are less for concentrating systems than for flat plate collectors. And eighth one is, in solar heating and cooling applications, there will be a higher temperature of working fluid attainable system with concentrating system. So this increases the efficiencies to a higher value in cooling cycle, and lower cost for air conditioning also with concentrating systems. We can go for air conditioning also with very low cost in concentrating systems when compared to flat plate collectors. So little or antifreeze, last advantage is, little or no antifreeze is required to protect the observer in the concentrating system. So we are having the problems, this type of drawback, this is the main drawback in flat plate collectors. So while at winter season, while at nights, this fluid in the observer in the observer tubes or receiver pipes will be getting freezed like a ice. So for this we have to add an anti-freezing element, like we discussed ethanol, like that we have to use, but this increases the corrosion problem if you use any anti-freezing element. Okay, so this problem, this drawback is completely decreased in this concentrating type of collectors. So no anti-freezing element is required in the concentrating element. But whereas the anti-solar collection energy surface requires anti-freezing process in the flat plate. So these are the advantages of concentrating collectors over flat plate collectors, and on the other side we are having some disadvantages also, we will see. So coming to the disadvantages of solar concentrating collectors over flat plate collectors. So until we discuss this, the flat plate collectors becoming more efficient. The first disadvantage is, out of the beam and diffuse solar radiation components, only beam component is collected in case of concentrating collectors, because diffuse component cannot be reflected here. So as diffuse component cannot be reflected, we can lost this diffusing component. So but both beam and diffuse components, diffuse solar radiations, can be collected in flat plate collectors. This is the first disadvantage. Second one is, in some stationary reflecting systems, it is necessary to have smaller observer to track the sun image. In others, reflector has to be adjustable more than in one position if year-round operation is desired. So if you want to operate this concentrating collectors over the year, this has to be made a sun tracker device. Okay, so every day and every moment, every hour, we have to observe the solar radiations, and we have to track the sun, decide in manually or in automatic process. So this will be little bit expensive, and in other words, costly orientation system. This is assumed as costly orientated system. And third one is additional requirements of maintenance, particularly to retain the quality of reflecting surface against the dirt, weather and oxidation, etc. We have to take little maintenance here. Okay, so it is not termed as little maintenance, it can be a huge maintenance. So this is the third disadvantage. And fourth one is, there is non-uniform flux on the observer. So non-uniform flux on the observer means in some areas of the trough, suppose if you see a compound parabolic reflect concentrator, on some areas of the trough we are having increased high intensities of solar radiation, and in some areas we are having low low intensity of solar radiation, intensity of solar radiations. So this is a quite uneven solar radiations we are getting. So this results non-uniform flux on the observers. So but when you compare this with the flat plate collectors, overall the flux will be uniform on the flat plate collectors, because direct solar radiations will be absorbed by the black coating on the even flat plate collectors. And fifth one is, additional optical losses such as refractive losses and interceptive losses are being accounted in this concentrating collectors. So we have to track the sun's direction. So for this we have to additionally use some system called optical system. So we are using this optical system, so we are getting some disadvantages of this optical system. Those disadvantages are termed as optical losses. These optical losses are referred to as reflectance losses and intercept losses. So these extra losses introduce additional factors in energy balances. And sixth most important disadvantage is high initial cost. So the initial cost will be high, because it is having more advantages. The initial cost will be high, and it is also always complex construction due to over the flat plate collectors. So if it is with complex means higher will be the cost. So these are the disadvantages of the concentrating collectors. Next topic is solar ponds. These solar ponds have multiple ways of using. So these are used for collecting and storing the collected energy from the solar radiations. So actually it is a natural or artificial body of water used for collecting and absorbing the solar radiation, and again it stores that as a form of heat. This is a solar pond. So this is combining with, so thus the solar pond is combining with solar energy collection, and it is it is storing the heat sensibly. Okay, so very simplest type of solar pond is a shallow solar pond. It is a shallow solar pond, simplest type. It is about 5 to 10 centimeters deep and with a radiation absorbing of E-black plastic. E-black plastic, we are having this E-black plastic coating at the bottom only. So if you see in the diagram, we can see we have the idea of the solar ponds. So this is a small shallow solar pond. Here this is the surface zone. This one, this here water will be circulating from up and down. This is the insulation zone and this is the storage zone. So cool water in, hot water out. Okay, so these are the this hot water will be going down and fresh cool water will be going up. So see, the sun radiations are coming onto the pond and it is collecting the solar radiations, it is absorbing the solar radiations, and again it is storing. So under inside a bed of insulating material. See here, insulating zone is there. A bed of insulating material under the pond. It minimizes the loss of heat to the ground. So this bed acts as a insulating material and it minimizes the loss of heat to the ground. It avoids the loss of heat going into the ground. So, and a curved cover. This is lining. A curved cover is made. It is made up of transparent fiber glass. This lining is made up of transparent fiber glass. So it permits entry of solar radiation from the top here. But it reduces the losses by radiation and convection movement, by air movement. In suitable climate, if the climate is suitable for the solar ponds, means solar radiations are always present in the daytime, all the pond water can become hot enough for using in space heating and agriculture and other process. Okay, so for under favorable conditions, this can be used for, what are the sources, what are the applications it is used for? It can be used for space heating, agriculture and other process, etc. In shallow solar ponds, as described above, what I said, water soon acquires a fairly uniform temperature. Okay, so the time required for the water to attain a uniform temperature is less. However, water in such pond heats up usually only to a few degrees only. So we cannot attain high temperatures here because of natural convection currents which are set into motion as soon as the heat is absorbed at the bottom. Due to this conventional movement of conventional currents, motion of conventional currents, we can attain only smaller temperatures up to few degrees. If you take a deeper pond here, also we can have temperature variations. So what may be the shallow or deeper ponds? Temperature variations will be existing definitely. So loss of heat from the surface, especially it is at night. Loss of heat will be resulting at night especially. So because this results in circulation of water by convection. So if the water is lost, the convection circulation will be start. So this situation is changed if the pond contains a salt water at the bottom and with a layer of fresh clear water on the upper side. So if you take salt water on the bottom side and if you take upper water in the above bottom side, we can reduce the losses. So because of this salt content we are taking at the bottom, the solar pond bottom water is denser. These are more heavier than the cool fresh water at the top. So as these are denser at the bottom, they cannot rise upwards. So bottom water will be at the bottom only and fresh water will be on the top only. So a relatively stable layer of heated salt water is produced at the bottom of the salt with a lighter layer of cooler water on the tops. So this cooler water acts as a heat insulator above it. So actually we can call the solar pond as artificially constructed pond. In which temperatures we can rise to our desired values. And the best term for this solar pond is we can call it as salt gradient solar pond or non-convection solar ponds. Okay, so we can call the solar ponds as specific terms as salt gradient solar pond or non-convecting solar ponds. Okay, these two are different from the shallow solar ponds. So solar ponds has high promise nature over a flat plate collectors. So they can definitely overcome the disadvantages in the flat plate collector, and they can be used for the energy storage by employing a mass of water for both collection and storage of solar energy. Okay, so the solar energy stored in this is of low grade. Low grade means it is from 60 to 100 degrees Celsius only. Thermal form. This is called as thermal form. And it is a suitable item for the suitable application for the suitable activity for the various applications such as space heating, industrial process heat to obtain mechanical or electrical energy. This is solar pond. So many researches are going on the pond. So these ponds have been studied experimentally and analytically at the National Physical Laboratory of Israel and by various other countries also. So a scientist called Tabor in 1964, he outlines the general concepts and the major problems of these solar ponds. After that, Tabor and Metz in 1965, they carried out theoretical investigations of underlying physics of solar pond, and they had done the laboratory and field test also to study main factors affecting the pond performances. So at MT Stoltenbach 1968, he developed numerical methods to predict the temperature distributions within these solar ponds. These are the various researchers, and a group of Russian scientists at Uzbek SSK Academy of Science in 1973, they has been actively engaged in very detailed and sophisticated research of the relevant physics in the solar ponds. Coming to our India, in India, Dr. G.C. Jain in 1973, he has designed and he had designed and his operating a solar pond. He has designed a design to operate a solar pond for use in production of salt at Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute in Bhavnagar. This is the research done in India. Next, at last, work has also been done at Pondicherry, where experimental studies have been conducted onto a pond 100 meters square in area and 2 meters in depth. So under this depth, experiments have been done on this solar pond. These are the researches going on and still going on the solar ponds. Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant